Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Cutler is here today as an amazing authority. She hails from Australia, and she's a tremendously heart-centered woman. Karen, welcome to the show today. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mitch. Thank you for asking me.
And you've got your new microphone. You've got your Rode, which of course celebrates your Australianism, because that is a high-quality mic, as I mentioned, and you are a pro. And now you work with a variety of people in your career. Started out as an art teacher, and tell us where that took you.
Art teaching, creative thought, inspiring, different projects led me on to start a new business called Webstyles. I started that in the year 2000 after raising my 3 children to preschool level.
Okay.
I thought, right, they're at preschool. Brain really wants to burn now. Here we go. So I started the Webstyles. I had 13 contractors working for me in my first 12 months.
Wow.
And I just knew from the art teaching how to hear and interpret a vision. So it was a natural progression. And from there, it just word of mouth got out. I never advertised. Word of mouth got out. I was referred, and it went on from there. And then I was doing marketing as well as website design work. And we were one of the very first, actually, in Australia. I coined it the self-maintaining website. And people weren't maintaining the text in their own websites yet. But I designed and developed a program with a really good developer to do this. And that's why we caught on quite quickly, because it was practical, functional, and economical.
And then what happened then? What went on next? You still have that business, or did you?
It actually has evolved. I've still got the core business from 2000. It's now 25 years old. And it has transgressed through the Activate group, where we were just fully active. I just thought that was an appropriate name. And we were working with all sorts of different businesses. During the GFC, I was asked to lead EAP for an international organization.
What's EAP? See, all these acronyms, please spell those out for the non-Australians.
Employee Assistance Program.
Okay.
So, lunchtime trainings, etc. So it was my role to facilitate and design training, as well as those that were already within the curriculum for lunchtime trainings for top tier organizations, top banks, international organizations, mining companies. It was big, Google, everyone. And I loved it. And it was really interesting because during that time, during the GFC, I was being asked by the HR executives that they were being given a mandate by the executives of the companies to keep everyone at work. And this is where we unfolded and discovered a lot of presenteeism. And presenteeism is where you turn up for work, but mentally and emotionally, you're not there. You're just doing time until it's safe to leave or transition. And everyone during the GFC were trying to hold on to their roles. And so I had...
GFC is Global Financial Crisis?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure if we get...
I should define.
Yeah. Acronyms always need to be spelled out.
Yeah. And I suppose, too, for the later generation, they haven't gone through the GFC,
exactly.
have they?
Global Financial Crisis. No, they have not.
So during that period of time, I realized that this was more of an emotional engagement for staff and employers than it was a mental or a financial one. It was about trying to keep people from burning out, from leaving, from suicide rates were through the roof. And I was being asked more and more by HR departments to help them with more and more extreme cases. So we had to get radical. So I started designing and developing training and using the very good materials that were on display with our organization at the time, to do more heart-based, encouraging, inspiring, more personal talks at lunch. Nothing about leadership, nothing about, how to best serve the next manager or anything like that. That is actually a thing of mine. I really don't like the word management, because the word manage actually comes from the French word menage, which was to bridle a horse, to blind it, and to bridle it so that it had no ability to change its neck or to see sideways, only to keep going ahead. And it would never knew what was coming from behind. So the fact that we've even applied this word menage, to a human being, let alone to an adult, but to a horse. But, there's only so much horsepower a human can produce. So I was all about, let's take the blinkers off. Let's take the bridle off. Let's start to get real at lunchtime now. Let's have closed door discussions where I would lock the executive out so they couldn't see or spy, and actually have time for the staff and hear what was really going on with them. And when you listen, I really believe, and it's true, the answers are always in the gaps. So from there, I developed and designed different training that would be in readiness for when I left EAP, because I didn't want to be in a role anymore that was forcing people to be in a role or to encourage them to be in a role that they were just now doing time. So during that period of time, there were a lot of people starting to question, who am I? What am I doing here? And what the world would normally coin a midlife crisis was actually an awakening. It's a very positive time. The world has pictured this as a bad thing. The old adage of men growing up and then having a midlife crisis and having a fling with a younger girl and buying the red car and all the rest of it. Or women with, going out and, having an affair with the tennis coach or whatever. It's all of it is about awareness and exploring, who am I meant to be? Who am I? And so that started me on a path and opened up a journey that I had started quite a few years back. And I met with a parliamentarian in Australia's Parliament House. We closed the door, we had a chat, and she said, Karen, can you help me with, and I was with a colleague who I was working for at the time in training and education. Can you help us with our region? And I asked her to explain what was going on. And it echoed all the same things as what was happening and what we were seeing in over 20 top tier conglomerates, identity-based issues. And they had in this region generational poverty, generational drama and trauma, lack of education, lack of inspiration. And she said, we're really challenged on how to inspire this generation. We need hope. I said, they need identity. Because once, like any teenager, you keep them busy with what they identify with, they will just keep focused and explore and expand. So then from then on, I was designing and developing life purpose identity programs based on over 20 years of white paper peer-reviewed research. Did my master's in management, and was on the side coaching people. And so this has all evolved organically, but it's all based on white paper research. And I'm very blessed to work with very intelligent people.
Time out. I don't know what a white paper research is.
Sorry.
Yeah. The American speak is quite different. I don't know what white paper research is.
Okay.
So let's break down the...
When scientists, researchers are at university, they collaborate or they do on their own a research paper.
Okay.
This research paper, but done at a higher university level, is called a white paper, especially when it gets published.
So academic papers.
Academic papers.
Okay. It's just different. All right. We label it differently. That's why we don't call it white paper research.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
You're Australian, I'm an American. Most of the people are going to be American listening to this. So they would ask the same
I love
question.
the fact that you're asking these questions.
Well, because I've never heard them. Yeah. Yeah. And EOP and BBB and yeah. All right. So we're unpacking, getting clear. So what academic research papers?
Yes. Academic research papers, tried and true testings, public tests that have been sold for years online, but only focus on one avenue of thought. And I researched and I researched, and the thing that keeps bugging me was there's nothing that holistically looks at everything or even most things a person carries that helps them identify with who they are. There's nothing out there that does all of it. And there's so many beautiful facets of us to behold. And a lot of people will do a personality profile. Yeah. And, what about your values? Okay. Yes, I've done my values profile. Yes. Do you know there's over 460 values, and most people don't know their top 5, let alone in order? And, I started to visit funerals upon invitation of people who had committed suicide because they'd lost hope. And so that expedited me even faster. I've got to get this out there. I know some of the answers. I don't know all of the answers, but I certainly know, after a lot of trialing and testing, what makes the most sense. And one of the things that makes the most sense is we need to start listening to our heart voice. Now, we have 2 voices. Well, we really have 3: spiritual, mental, heart. But most people listen to their cognitive voice, what they hear in their head. But the thing that keeps echoing over their whole life is what's coming from their heart or their gut. And that is the voice that is based on your inherent intrinsic values. So when we start to discover our intrinsic values, and I've got an amazing AI-based test for that.
Okay.
And then we link that in with your inherent talents, which you're naturally good at, not the skills that you've learned. And I need to make it really clear. When it comes to intrinsic values, this is not, oh, I love my children and my family. I'm talking about the values you were born with, that you had, that ignited you between the ages of 7 to 12, especially the age of 10, before you had your family yet, before you had a diversion of thought. What was your original thought? What was your gut instinct? What did you love doing? And
at age 10, let me cycle back a second. So at age 10, that's
around 10. It depends on the child's emotional maturity at the time.
Okay. So around 10, that's what you're labeling intrinsic values?
No, that is where we start to look at, because when an adult gets older, they've stopped giving themselves permission to be who they really are and to love what they used to love. So we take them back to try and remember, what were the things that you enjoyed doing when you were younger? And there's a lot of layers in this. So to be able to say, oh, look, I enjoyed playing cars. Oh, I'm not a racing car driver now. That's not what I'm talking about. There might have been an element of the car that was incredible to the user at the time as a child. It might have been the wheel movement. It might have been the mechanics of it. It might have been the smoothness or the curve of the car holding it, that light design or whatever. So there's a lot more layers. Sounds basic, but it's really important.
And that's what this test provides. That's
one of the tests, yes. And we test for talents, and we also look at confidence levels. My goodness me, and entrepreneurship levels. There's over 15 different types of entrepreneurship. Most people don't know their top 2. Why do we have so many people falling out of entrepreneurship in the first 2.4 years? Because
why is that?
They're probably in the wrong entrepreneur lane for them.
Okay.
Confidence levels. Oh my goodness. People say they don't have confidence. We've got another program called Genuine Confidence. We want genuine confidence. We don't want fake it till you make it.
And this test covers, let's list the topics that it covers.
Mm-hmm. Well, Talent Master Key actually includes, well, the master program includes all of the programs we just discussed. So we look at your values ID, we look at your confidence compass, we look at your entrepreneurship DNA, and what else? My goodness me, we have so many. And then that actually culminates in what I call the prosperity DNA.
Okay.
And it looks like what I've been researching and makes the most sense is we've been designing and developing the world's first wealth DNA based prosperity system.
So does this take all of these tests or
Yes.
background, puts it together, and then tells us the likelihood of prosperity? Or does it tell us which way will make the most prosperous life?
Yes. So according to your own DNA and design, let's call it design, because I don't know, you don't do blood tests. According to your own design, we are wired to pursue a particular way that suits us. That's the easiest way to live our lives. And in our lives now, unfortunately, we have to make money. And what's the easiest way to do that? Well, it's another reason why I've been doing so many programs and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years testing all the programs to seeing how and where each program will line up best for a particular design type to make life easier. And then wealth can come easier. So,
Interesting. So where do they learn about this?
talentmasterkey.com actually encases all of those programs. And we're about to launch Genuine Confidence, mentoring and coaching as another program. And yeah, more than welcome to have a look at that. And we're starting a podcast because we've had so much interest in people's programs.
Tell us about your podcast.
Aha, that's exciting. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So, Karen, tell us about your podcast.
Who would know about that?
I'm all ears.
I bet. AI, wealth, and wisdom for entrepreneurial women and smart men.
Okay, I like that distinction. Smart men, not dummies. Not
no.
Okay.
We don't want we want this to be a safe place for people to learn, to be inspired by, to come to one website and know that whatever has been talked about that could potentially help them make money or make contact or join networks or whatever it is, they can come to our AIwealthandwisdom.com website. They'll be able to go to a page there. We're going to have products and services listed, and they can get in contact directly with our speakers and our guests. And I want people to feel safe and at home. And most of the programs I would have gone through. I'm not there selling stuff. Yeah, there'll be commission there because it takes a little bit of money to run.
Of course it does.
But I also, we'll have charitable endeavors. But what is the most important thing to me is that people know that when they come and they talk with Karen, they can make contact with us and they know that the services and the products that we showcase are genuine, because I want people to know that they're loved, they carry value, and I want to help them grow their future and multiply whatever they carry.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, give us one more time. Where do they go for this?
For the programs, talentmasterkey.com.
And of course, there'll be a link there for your podcast.
Correct. And for the podcast, which I'm very, very excited about, is AIwealthandwisdom.com.
And for women and for smart men. I like that. Smart men. Well, I'm definitely tuning into that one. Karen, you've been a great guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We know the roadmap for prosperity. And of course, we'll be able to listen in on your newly launched podcast. Thank you so much for being a guest on The Amazing Authorities. And you are an amazing authority. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mitch.
Thanks for tuning in to The Amazing Authorities podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to mitchcarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.